Welcome to Clean Academy. This is Jonathan Van Ness, and welcome back, Tara Foley.
Thank you so much for having me.
Pleasure is all mine. When you were here last, you taught us about how we could make our clean makeup routine really be an extension of our clean skincare routine. So can you kind of give us like 5 ways to have a greener, cleaner beauty routine?
A really good place to start, believe it or not, is hand and body soap.
How do I do?
It's just something that nobody ever thinks to swap out, but it's actually extremely important. If you think about it, it's the product that we all use most frequently throughout the day. What body washes do, hand and body washes, is they create a ton of plastic waste, right? So we use these faster than anything else in our house. They also have a bunch of ingredients like triclosan, which is the quote-unquote antibacterial ingredient. They have SLS, which is an irritant. It's gonna dry out your skin. It's harmful for us and the planet. They have tons of synthetic fragrance. I could go down a really long list.
What do we replace it with?
So I would just say a really easy swap could be something as basic as a nourishing bar soap, or you could find a refillable soap option. Make sure that you're gonna be using safe ingredients on the inside, because a lot of times companies will have these biodegradable or refillable packaging options, but then the ingredients on the inside aren't safe. And really at the end of the day, the ingredients are then going down the drain into the water system, and the ingredients on the inside actually really matter.
So basically, just like replace bar soap for your packaged hand soaps and body washes.
Yeah, it's very, very simple. Make sure that it's a bar soap without fragrance. Make sure that it's a bar soap without triclosan. Make sure, that it has good ingredients and it's from a brand or a retailer you trust. But yes, bar soap or a refillable liquid soap is a great option.
What a great tip. What's another one?
Another one that we all hopefully use a ton is sunscreen. So you may have been reading about chemical sunscreens in the news, like oxybenzone, octinoxate, and a few others. So they're starting to be banned. They've already been banned in Hawaii, Key West, a few other places across the country. They're being banned for what they're doing to the reefs. They're actually wiping out coral reefs, but imagine what they're doing to our bodies. So the real difference between mineral sunscreens and chemical sunscreens are chemical sunscreens absorb the UV rays versus mineral and physical sunscreens, they actually block the UV rays from getting into your body. Mineral sunscreens literally create this protective barrier on your skin. So it's almost like you're wearing clothes. The sun is just not gonna get to you at all. So not only is that protecting you from long-term illnesses and all of the reasons why we use sunscreens, exactly, it's protecting you from burns, and it's also protecting you from the photo, damage to your skin. So why wouldn't we just use mineral barriers when they're so much better for us and for the planet? The third category of products that I would really pay special attention to is deodorant. So if you were to go into, any major retailer drugstore and turn around every single deodorant, the first ingredient's still aluminum zirconium. And I could talk about that a lot, but it's actually a cocktail of a ton of unsafe other ingredients as well. And you brought up fragrance. That's a great example of something that's in there in a high percentage.
However, so far for me at least, every single one that I've tried that is clean beauty deodorant actually makes me smell like a rotting fish factory. So is there one that works?
Yes, okay, so that's the tricky thing about deodorant in the clean space. You have to try and find the right one for your body chemistry. Some people have reactions to certain ingredients in deodorants, and some people it just doesn't work for them in certain ingredients. I am able to use deodorants that have baking soda, arrowroot powder, tea tree oil, some really heavy-duty ingredients, but other people might not be able to use them. So I would say that it's kind of a trial and error process. So I would test out a few. The other thing to note for deodorant, and one of the reasons why you may have thought it wasn't working, is some people do experience a quote-unquote detox period. And not everybody does, but some people do. And during that period, your body is ridding itself of a lot of the ingredients that it's stored up here. So where we apply deodorant is the beginning of our lymphatic system. It's one of the reasons why we shouldn't be using unsafe deodorants, right? Because we're applying it right there in such a sensitive area. But it's also one of the reasons why we hold up and store a lot of these unsafe ingredients there. So when you stop using these things, sometimes your body's starting to get rid of it. When you're, scrubbing there with soap or any kind of an exfoliating ingredient, your body's, or when you're sweating, of course, your body's gonna start, getting rid of those ingredients, and it may smell a little funky when that happens.
Is that why when I exfoliate my armpits in the shower and then later you're why am I stinky again so fast?
That's exactly right.
Living for the first 3 things, what is the 4th?
So for the 4th, I would ask you to actually think about what you use the most in your life. For me, it's actually makeup. That was the first swap for me, was concealers and foundations. If you're somebody that doesn't use a ton of concealer and foundation, but you use a ton of body lotion or sunscreen or whatever it is, I would say reflect on what it is you use most on the most surface area of your body and switch that out.
And last, what's the fifth thing that we can really do to change the tide?
I would just ask everybody to take a step back and think about the choices that you're making. So you're voting with your dollar every single time you buy a product. And the products, there's so many different choices you can make. Sustainable packaging, it's, you know, healthy and sustainable ingredients on the inside. It's so many different options, and it can be a little bit overwhelming. But by getting informed about these different options and, you know, at least knowing and then making small choices and taking small steps in the right direction, we're doing this together. And so it's about talking to your friends and family members about it. It's about informing yourself more and more. I mean, there are things that are super complicated, like packaging. Like in the beauty space, most beauty products are made with mixed materials of packaging. So do you know what that means? It means like the pump and the cap, everything's made out of a different material. So that makes it hard to recycle, basically. And so you can do things like find drops where you can drop off the mixed material packaging. You can look for glass, you can look for biodegradable packaging. There's so many different options, but just by informing yourself and informing your friends and family members and treating this as a community issue, then you're doing the right thing. In addition to all those practice swaps I mentioned, all of us use lots of single-use products every single day. So think about Q-tips, cotton balls.
So like if you were like a makeup wipe user, maybe just like opt at the end of the day to just like washing your face?
Yeah, I mean, you can use an oil-based, any kind of makeup remover as a cleanser or anything else like that. You could totally get rid of your makeup wipe. Or if you needed to take a step, an intermediary step in between, you could try and find a biodegradable makeup wipe.
Ooh, Tara Foley, thank you so much for giving me your time and sharing your expertise. I really appreciate it.
You learned a lot today. This has been so fun.
You were busy. How did you find time to educate me and do Follain and do all the things you're doing, honestly?
It's important. I mean, it's very, very important that we have this conversation. There's so many people that still haven't heard about the benefits of clean products and how important it is to make the switch. So thank you so much for talking to me about it today.
My pleasure. Thanks so much for coming. Thank you so much for joining us today. If you want more Clean Academy, make sure to follow Biossance on Instagram and YouTube.